Ladies and jellyfish, shalom. So you guys know I love Tmnt 2003. I had a whole 40-minute retrospective on it, and it's probably my favorite action cartoon of all time, outside of the Ben 10 franchise. It's one of the only shows with tremendous rewatch value, and offers so much more than just a few funny jokes and some fight scenes. But how did this show end? The final episode of Tmnt 2003 aired on February 28, 2009, almost 14 years ago now. While there was technically a whole thing called Mayhem for Mutant Island, I think most fans unanimously consider Wedding Bells and Bytes the final episode of the show, as we finally see the pieces of the show come together, as do Casey and April unite into one flesh. So for the slightly late 20-year anniversary of this show, why don't we take a look back on how it ended and finally determine, did TMNT 2003 end well? The episode starts off at the lair, as Donnie finally resurrects Master Splinter and converts him from data bits to pure matter again. This finally ends the dragged on side plot that's been held over our heads for the entire season, and puts Master Splinter's arc in the trash where it belonged. Oh, looks like it has company with the entire Notes from Underground arc. Nah, but for real though, seeing Master Splinter reunited with the Turtles is certainly heartwarming. I just wish we had a better character design of him than this. All I want is dark, gritty turtles with no pupils. Is that too much to ask? Every time I watch this season, I don't, but I can't help but be distracted by those goddamn pupils. They're so lucky this theme song is an absolute banger. Just one thing though, I can't help but always notice that there's one super short clip that was reused from the older seasons, because for some reason they can animate the same thing with the new art style, so it just reminds me of what could have been. Yeah, try not to notice that next time you're watching this. And so the guys venture on to Casey's farmhouse for him and April's wedding. I have to say, this is such a fan servicey episode because it totally incorporated all the characters we know and love, while finally uniting the couple has been the framework of the Turtles throughout every season. Given a fast forward to their respect, Casey and April have a strong presence, and their legacy is certainly retained in this continuity. Not to mention all the help they brought the Turtles in the classic seasons.
Every series eventually does a wedding episode, dude.
Yeah, with a little deep cut joke for the more mature among you sea of imbeciles.
Hey guys, we're here!
No way they just use the stock truck sound effect for the battle shell. Eventually they get to the farmhouse as we see Casey and April and catch up.
Sensei, you look like $1,000,000. Better than 1,000,000 pieces, right?
Bro, I just can't get over this art style. Why do they have to trash the perfect style of the first 5 seasons? I mean, Splinter looks the worst, but they all just look blander than previous. It's like a layer of their designs been taken off for simplicity's sake, but it just makes them more complicated and ugly. Anyway, they all ask Splinter about his time in cyberspace, but suddenly get an unexpected knock on the door. The turtles all vanish, but then we see where each one is hiding. I mean, Donnie would be immediately seen after someone comes in, so I don't really say that's a smart position. It's actually Casey's mom at the door, because Casey sent the invitations the wrong way, and we see her come in with Cousin Sid, Ancient One, Professor, and Angel. Actually, I guess this was a good excuse to bring these characters back to show us what they'd look like in this new design. Meanwhile, in the jungle nearby, Khan and the foot soldiers are standing ready to attack the turtles on their most important day. Back in the farmhouse, Raph and Leo help Casey get ready as he tries to put on a bow tie.
Voila!
You sure this is right?
Yeah, Ben 10 did this thing so much better, don't even try.
Aren't these things supposed to come with clips? Not if you're older than 12.
Meanwhile, Mikey helps April set up her dress, which is actually pretty cute. Let's just leave the late 2010s wacky faces out of this, shall we? We see all the guests coming in. This includes Karai and Chaplin, Mortu and the Utrons, Usagi and Gen, Honeycutt, the Acolytes and the Ninja Tribunal, and Leatherhead. Sounds like a bunch of bands. Little jokes like Gen trying to steal Hisomi's gift are the kind of thing this episode wins me over with, but I wish we got more of them. The plot is so focused on rushing forward that we miss out on a lot of crucial interactions and motives.
Captain Mortu, I'm pleased to report that there is no sushi bar at the reception.
Thank goodness. We wouldn't want a repeat of what happened last time. I still smell like soy sauce.
Yeah, not funny, didn't laugh. Splinter goes to fetch April from the farmhouse, but spots the foot ninjas nearby. Before he can warn anyone, he gets knocked down, and then thrown directly at the barn where everyone is. Makes you wonder why they didn't just let him warn him. And then...
He's here.
Who's here? Who? Who could it possibly be?
Your long-awaited demise.
The Shredder?
Hey, was it a complete waste to bring back Shredder like this? Was he completely overused to the point of it not even being funny anymore? Is there literally any point to him being here after we saw him get killed 12.5 times? Well, probably not, but honestly, I can't think of anyone more badass to be the final baddie on this last episode of a show like this. This is awesome, even though we've seen it 100 times before.
Yeah, like didn't we fry you up extra crispy style?
My body, perhaps. instrument you sought to destroy me with did not damage my digital core.
Digital core?
Digital pupils? I mean, digital core? God, these stupid eyeballs keep distracting me.
Then it was simply a matter of infecting one of the rat's data bits with a line of code that, once converted into matter, became a homing beacon.
Is it just me, or is Shredder totally out of character here for just blurting out his plans and all the exposition for everyone to hear? So we get a nice fight scene until Shredder throws the turtles out of the barn and collapses it on everyone there, as we get a nice succinct "no" from the turtles, which is then repeated after the commercial break, in case we were deaf the first time.
No!
Now, I think it's fair to point out that a lot of the characters included here would act much differently if given the opportunity to explore their motives and personalities. Like, how does the Tribunal feel about seeing the Shredder back in this form? How does Mortu feel about the same thing? Wasn't Leatherhead able to beat the crap out of Utrom Shredder? And why is he so tame when facing a bunch of foot ninjas? I know it's a lot to handle with all these characters, but if you want to add all these people in a shot, you can extend the length of the episode to a 2-part special and explore these dynamics in a much more conclusive way. I mean, no one came to see this episode to see the Shredder fight. We came to see all our favorite allies come back in one setting. So maybe expand on that a little bit. Anyway, they all escape from under the collapsed barn, and we get another huge fight scene in a nice big circle. Donnie takes Splinter's homing beacon and does a bunch of sciencey crap until he makes a gun that can kill Shredder. Works for me. Justice Force comes to help as well, and Silver Sentry just takes out a whole acre of foot ninjas in like 2 seconds. Seriously, didn't Mikey say this guy at one point? The power scaling in this show is way off. Donnie and Splinter fight Shredder and fire the decompiler beam at him, completely shattering his existence and killing him off in the second coolest way we've seen in this show so far. First obviously goes to the ice asteroid. And Scotty Ray's yelling is just so damn good. It's like they locked him in a room with a mic and some throat lozenges and told him to have fun. And so, bad guys defeated, Casey and April resume their wedding outside, as we get a beautiful sunset background, with even more old characters watching from a distance, including the Rat King, the Daimyo and his son, Bishop, Cody, and this chick. I forgot her name, but I'm sure someone in the comments can help me out with that. I know that Bishop became a good guy in the future and all, but technically in this time, wouldn't he still be a bad guy? In that case, should we have Han and the Garbage Man watching this too? I mean, Bishop's my favorite Tmnt character ever, but even I found that a bit odd. And so, Casey and April come together in a completely uninterrupted and super emotional final scene that actually felt real and worth it after 7 seasons of build-up. You gotta remember that in the first season, these two barely knew each other. They only started kissing and getting close around season 3. This show always kept the relationship status as a backburner arc throughout each season, which I think is one of the best parts of the 03 series. Overall, it all felt super worth it to finally see them come together, as that moment ended the series. Not some grand deal with Bishop that excludes Donnie, not some massive dragon battle with the Tengu Shredder, although that was cool as hell too, but the unity of the two most important human characters in TMNT. I guess in that way, Wedding Bells and Bytes felt pretty human. Anyway, what do you think of this episode? What do you think about Tmnt 2003 in general? What do you think about my review? You let me know all that in the comments down below, and like and subscribe if you want to support my work. If you want more TMNT content to celebrate the 20th anniversary, check out my massive retrospective on it, and all my other TMNT videos with the links in the card above and description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.